Alright, what's going on, guys? So in this video, we're going to be discussing 3 ad photos, or creatives, that's the fancy way of saying it, but 3 creatives that will guaranteed work for your advertising efforts for your gym or fitness studio. So let's first cover what most gyms do, and this is a huge problem, and that's the fact that a lot of gyms are just using strictly stock photos for pretty much all of their marketing efforts. So there's a few issues with this, but probably the biggest one is that your audience, the people that are getting targeted by these different types of ads, they have an eye for stock photos. So they've seen the same ones in rotation that pretty much all of the gyms in your area are likely using. And when you see just certain types of images, such as, the one on the bottom where this guy's putting a plate on a barbell, it just looks very commercial, very corporate, and these typically don't resonate with your audience as much as an authentic photo would. But not only that, you got to make sure that these photos are congruent with your business. So for example, at the date of this recorded video, we're kind of in crazy times right now with the pandemic and everything. So if you're using stock photos of people that are working out inside, but let's say you're hosting all of your classes outside, or maybe you're doing virtual classes, well, that's not really going to mesh well with what people are seeing. Also, perfect example, the photo in the middle where the camera is focused inside of a ring. If your gym doesn't have gymnastics rings and you're using this photo, well, obviously that's not really going to make sense, right? So here's what you should do instead. And we're going to be talking about authentic photos, so photos that you could actually take yourself inside your studio or gym. We'll start with number 1 of this photo style, which is the good old action shot. So you can never go wrong with this. This is obviously just whatever your gym or studio hosts. So whether you're a yoga studio, an MMA gym, a weightlifting oriented gym, whatever the case is, you're going to get photos of your actual members or students participating in whatever that is. And this is really obvious, but something that I think is almost so obvious that people just miss out on. So definitely, make sure that you're getting these photos, and they're really good because they're intriguing. So obviously, as you see a photo on the bottom left, for example, of a woman who's putting a guy into a guillotine choke, that's obviously going to catch someone's attention, right? Or even the top left, if someone's into yoga, they're going to see that and they're going to resonate with it. Same thing on the right, using the TRX bands or resistance cables, people are going to be intrigued when they see some type of action shot. It also promotes realistic expectations and a little bit of self-reflection too, because your audience is now going to imagine themselves, okay, I could see myself doing this. This is pretty cool. What would it take for me to be in this woman's shoes or this man's shoes? So this is the benefit of doing action shots. Now here's photo style number 2, which is actually pretty advanced of a marketing strategy, and that's using text overlay over your photos. So in all of these examples, there's a common theme where basically the call to action is represented by the text. So on the top left, the lead magnet is to get a downloadable sheet, 2 nutrition cheat sheets used by our top athletes. The one on the right, for example, grab your free 7-day pass, so the good old 7-day pass. And the one on the left, is for an online sign up. And the great thing about all of these is they can make a pretty substandard photo look pretty legit. So if you have a photo that's not even the best quality and you simply add a nice pattern with a nice text overlay, this could dramatically increase the appearance of your image. Also, these really catch the eye because when you have some type of pattern interrupt, when people are used to scrolling on, let's say, Facebook or Instagram, and they're just seeing standard photos all the time, whether it's an ad or an organic photo from their friends, and then they see something like this where it's a square with a lopsided angle with a call to action and bright big text, that's going to catch someone's eye. Also, your competitors are likely not doing this. It's actually pretty rare that I'll see these types of ads come up in my feed because most people are just using stock photos, like I said, and that's it. It's a great way to start branding your actual facility because you could start using your logo colors or branding colors, and like I said, it's just a great way to enhance whatever your call to action is. Now photo style number 3, and this is probably the most underrated one, but this is having a transparent photo. So this is pretty much like the behind the scenes stuff a lot of the nitty gritty sort of not so much staged kind of presence that you actually want. And in my opinion, this is probably underutilized by most gyms because they think that everything has to be nice and crisp, professional looking. And yes, there is some truth to that. But keep in mind, you're starting to attract your audience. You're trying to get more people to come into your gym. And when people see a group photo like this on the bottom, and they could actually start putting faces to who they expect to see once they start enrolling, or they see some type of fun transformation picture. Another example is sometimes even like behind the scenes photos. So going back to the pandemic, if you have one of your team members who's maybe cleaning the lockers or spraying down equipment, just simple photos like that can actually go a long way. So these we've seen work really well. The audience can relate. They're more likely to get emotionally invested into real people, like I said. And also, we've noticed that when we tend to run these types of campaigns, we've noticed that for gyms, show-up rates are actually increased by these leads. So in other words, if someone is interacting with a campaign using some type of transparent photo, as in these examples, if they're interacting with that, they're more likely to put themselves into the actual buying mindset, or trying out the service, whatever it is. And we've just seen that those leads are more likely to convert in the back end. So that's kind of a neat thing that we've tested and we've seen. And also, last but not least, this was the first bullet point, but these are the easiest photos to capture because this is really just your day-to-day sort of business operation where you don't really have to think too much about it. And I know that if you're starting off doing this, you guys probably are going to overthink and take 37 different photos before you find the right one. But that's really not the mindset. You want to be easy peasy, just take everything off the cuff, and those are honestly probably going to be your best product. So anyways, that's pretty much it. But hopefully this has been valuable. Give it a shot. Guaranteed that if you're not using these types of authentic photo placements, you're going to start seeing a dramatic increase in your advertising results.